Hey everybody, welcome back to the Light Side Music Reactions. Today we are reacting to a new song from Pat Boone, and the song is called Where Did America Go? The song has been out for a month or two, but he just a couple days ago on September 6th released the official music video. So that's what we're reacting to today, and I apologize that I may have to be doing a lot of pausing on here to do commentary. Either that or I'm going to just skip over some of the commentary specifically on the lyrics, because I tried looking up the lyrics ahead of time and can't find a copy of them anywhere. So I like to, when I'm doing these reactions, I like to have the lyrics right there so that I can look at them and get them exactly right when I'm commenting on them. So on this video, I'll comment on the lyrics, but it'll be just kind of like my memory of what they were. I may not get them exactly correct. But anyway, for those of you that aren't familiar, Pat Boone is an American singer, actor, and television personality that's been in the business for many, many years. During his recording career, he sold nearly 50 million records and had 38 top 40 hits, and also appeared in various Hollywood films. According to Billboard magazine, he was the only singer that could compete in popularity with Elvis Presley during the 1950s. So that gives you a general idea of just how popular he was. He was a teen heartthrob. All the girls just went crazy over him back in the day. And so in the 1960s, he began to focus on gospel music and did a lot of gospel hits, and later was inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame. Some of the movies that he's appeared in, you may recognize some of these titles. 1959, he was in Journey to the Center of the Earth. 1970, The Cross and the Switchblade. That was a great movie. I've seen that one. It's a true story of Nicky Cruz, a gang member that ended up finding God. Very amazing story. 1989, a documentary called Roger and Me. Oh, that was that Michael Moore documentary. Space Ghost Coast to Coast. You remember that TV series, the cartoon thing? That was in 1997. He was on that. God's Not Dead Part 2 in 2016. Any of you ever seen any of those movies? They just released a new one in that series just a couple months ago. Let's see. And then he's also in the new Reagan movie that's coming out this year, starring let's see, Dennis Quaid and Mina Savari and C. Thomas Howell. So I'm interested in seeing that movie when it comes out. That's going to be interesting. Of course, I love Dennis Quaid. But anyway, he had over 25 singles reach the top 20 on the U.S. singles charts, including Ain't That a Shame, I Almost Lost My Mind, Don't Forbid Me, Love Letters in the Sand, and April Love. Those were all #1 hits. And then he had a whole bunch of other hits that were in the top 40. But anyway, let's go ahead and check this out. You know, he's getting up there in age. I don't know how old he is now. Probably in his 80s or 90s, possibly. So it's pretty amazing that he's still putting out music. But he wrote this song called Where Did America Go? And this is it right here. Let's go ahead and check it out. This is the official music video. Start off with the harmonica, America. Ooh. Ooh, I like that. I like that guitar. What's that remind me of? I can't think. There's a song that starts out just like that. I don't know if it's. I don't think it's Peter, Paul, and Mary, but it's that type of thing from the 1960s that it kind of reminds me. The 70s. I'll bet it's Coat of Many Colors. The Dolly Parton song, Coat of Many Colors, I think starts out with that same rhythm. Let me rewind just a little bit to see if it... I think that might be it. Reminds me of Coat of Many Colors. Oh my goodness, look at him. Okay, nice little harmonica thing there. It's got that Dixieland sort of feel to the harmonica. Yeah, watching this video, when we're done here, go ahead and go over to the link and check out the video. Some pretty amazing footage there showing him singing that in the studio with the microphone inside the sound booth. And boy, he's looking old, but he can still sing. And this song has that 1960s type of protest song sort of feel. It feels like, musically, it feels like something that was written in the late 60s or in the early 70s. Video here, it's showing some patriotic imagery. There's the general in black and white standing before the flag. You got the horses running, the protesters standing there. Let's see, there's a woman screaming in the megaphone that he was singing because we can't find a way to agree. And that's going to be probably the way that our country ends up falling apart is, the division that we have. I mean, there is so much that divides us, as humans in this life. And there's a lot that divides us anymore as Americans, and that it shouldn't be that way. And that's when he says, where did America go? That's one of the things that makes me think of, where did America go? What keeps America strong, and why is America falling apart? It's falling apart because we don't have anything to unite us anymore. When I was growing up, when I was a kid, being patriotic was something that was instilled in all of us. Proud of our country, not because our country was always right, and not because our government was always right, but because we love our country, even though we may disagree with our government, we may disagree with the officials, from one generation to the next. Every 4 years we have a presidential election, and it swings back and forth every 4 to 8 years from one extreme to the other. You've got the Republicans, you've got the Democrats, and you go from one extreme to the other, and we still love our country, or at least we should. We should still be patriotic and still love our country. Every citizen of any country should be proud of their heritage, should be proud of their country, and should be patriotic for the country they were born in, the country they live in, the country they call their home. Especially for Americans, because America, I'm not going to go into all the details, don't have time for it now, but you get the idea. America is the land of the free and the home of the brave. It's a special country because it was founded on freedoms and liberties that, our founders died and fought to preserve for us, to protect, to set up this nation where we could be free, where we would not have to worry about tyranny, about a government breathing down our shoulders and tyrants, dictators telling us how we have to live our lives and micromanage everything. Of course, we've got the Constitution, which is a good thing. We've got our laws. We've got our federal, state, and local laws, and it's important to have law and order and a set of laws. But we have our rules that we abide by and we agree to, and those are for our own safety and our protection. But at the same time, we don't let the government micromanage everything. There are certain things that are outlined in the Constitution that the government has the authority to dictate, and that's for our protection. But anything beyond that is supposed to be relegated down the line to state, then federal, then local, and then to individual freedoms and liberties. And the government shouldn't be stepping in and regulating every little thing about our lives. Obviously, there is an important reason. You don't want to have anarchy. You have to have rules and regulations and laws in any kind of fair society and any kind of civilized government or any kind of civilized society. But you can't. You don't want your government to be too big and too powerful. And that's what is so special about the United States, is that it's a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And we have to agree on those principles and agree that we love our country, even though we may not agree with the leaders and their positions at any given time. It's not about the government. It's not about the president. It's not about who's in Congress. It's about our country. It's about our flag. What it represents is us, we, the people. And no matter where you're from, no matter what your socioeconomical background is, whether you're male or female, whether you're young or old, whether you're an immigrant, coming legally, of course, whether you're an immigrant or somebody who is native born, when you become a citizen of the United States, You should be proud of your country because it's meant to be the land of the free and the home of the brave, and that's what our flag stands for. But America has fallen apart because we don't have that unity anymore. We need to get back to that, to where Republicans and Democrats can agree to disagree on the little things, but on the major things as far as patriotism and love for our country and wanting to live in safety and security and also freedom, to find a proper balance between the two. And struggling to find that balance is where we always find our disagreements politically. But when it gets to personal attacks and stuff like that, and we can't even agree to disagree, it just becomes toxic, and that is what's tearing our country apart. And so we need to find what makes us unified, what unites us, and concentrate on how we are the same, rather than on how we're different. You know, a lot of people say that diversity is our strength. Absolutely not. I don't believe that for 1 second. Diversity is not our strength. Unity is our strength. Of course, it's great that we are all diverse, that we come from all sorts of different backgrounds. But what makes us great is that in spite of our differences, we can come together and be united. Our unity is how we rise above all these other civilizations throughout history that have fallen down and been destroyed. A house divided against itself cannot stand. That's clear from back from the Bible. And it's been quoted by presidents in modern times. It's been quoted all the time, because it's very true. A house divided cannot stand. And when you're focusing constantly on what divides us, what makes us different from each other, we are dividing our house. We need to concentrate not on how we're different, but how we're all the same. All one blood. You know, we all bleed red. Those of us that are American citizens, we're all Americans. And we should all be proud to be Americans. Because America stands for the land of the free and the home of the brave. It's freedom for every single one of us. Liberty and justice for all. And if we get away from that, it's going to be our downfall. Let's get back into this. Ooh, Abraham, Martin, and John. Anybody remember that song? Some of the younger generation might not recognize it, that song title. There was a song back in, it would have been the late 60s, early 70s, after the assassinations of John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King. The song was written, I think it was Dion, was it, that had a hit with it? I think other people have covered it as well. But this song, you check it out when you get a chance. A great song. It talks about Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., and John F. Kennedy, and about their assassinations. People who stood for trying to keep America united, and agree or disagree with their personalities, their different, our heroes that we look up to. None of them are ever perfect. Even as a Christian, looking back to our heroes of the Bible, very very few times will you find one that is honorable in every aspect of their lives. King David, for example, a man who the Bible says was a man after God's own heart, was an adulterer and a murderer. He had an affair with a married woman, then had her husband killed in order to cover it up. That doesn't sound like a very honorable man, and yet it was a person that we look up to as one of the heroes that did some great things despite his human downfalls. And so we look back at heroes like Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy. These are great heroes that did some great things, and we need to look up to our heroes, even though they may have had some faults, as all humans do. We need to remember the sacrifice they made and honor them for the good things that they did for our country. Make a reference there. Let me rewind back and see what he said about them. Okay. Okay, here it is. Okay, where has America gone? Where are Abraham, Martin, and John? We drowned out their voices and gave up our choices. Isn't that the way it is? I mean, just a few years ago, there was all these protests about the statues, tearing down the statues of some of our heroes, and renaming all the colleges and high schools and all these streets and monuments named after famous people, some of our heroes, because of their faults, like I was just talking about. And we've drowned out their voices. We have, because they have made mistakes in other parts of their life, we have forgotten the important things that they taught us, the important things that they fought for. And that's destroying us as well. Those who refuse to learn the lessons of history are doomed to repeat them. And that's what we're doing when we erase our past, when we erase our history. And we're doomed to make the same mistakes over and over again. And that is part of what is destroying America. Do we have the strength to move on? I hope we do. Nate turns it to a prayer. Oh. I like the harmonica coming in and doing the little Dixieland thing there. A little bit of patriotism, you know, with the harmonica and those little ditty sort of things. But the lyrics there, turn that into a prayer. You know, I forget the exact words that he said there, but basically he's praying, God, will you save us? Will you help us to get through this? 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14, I think it is, says it's a prayer, and then it's God responding and saying, if my people who are called by my name, that's us, my people who are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will heal their land. And so we just need to start praying again. We need to come back to God. That's the answer. And if we humble ourselves, realize that, we need God, like the Caitlin Curtis and Struggle Jennings song we reacted to a month or two ago. God, we need you now. We need God now more than ever. We're in election year, and things are, anymore, every election cycle gets chaotic and it gets turbulent. But it just seems like more and more these days, it just gets worse and worse. So much division. And, of course, there is something healthy about having healthy debates and trying to come up with solutions that are right. Particularly, some of these issues are very important, and you have to make sure you make the right decisions. But at the same time, the divisions that we have with each other is dividing us as a country. And we need to find a way to find common ground. Because if we don't find common ground, we are going to fall. How could America fail? Wow. We gave up our own holy grail. Your holy grail. That's another thing, giving up our freedoms for sale. We can't be doing that. One of the quotes here they had on the screen from Ronald Reagan, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. And that's true. That is so true. And as I said today, it seems a lot of times like we're getting closer and closer. We need to fight for our unity to keep us divided so that we don't become that house divided and allow it to destroy ourselves. Because somebody else once said that if America ever fails, this was one of our founding fathers, clear back then, said if America is to ever fail and to fall, it will not be destroyed from the outside, but from within. And I believe that 100%, that our greatest threats aren't necessarily, it's a great nuclear war with some of our nuclear adversaries, Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, these terrorist nations over in the Middle East. There's and domestic terrorism. There's just threats all around the world that we have to worry about. But probably an even greater threat than that is the being destroyed from within. And that all comes from the fact that we can't be unified anymore. We worry too much about how we're different than how we're the same and how we're united. We let the enemy infiltrate us and then tear us down from the inside, divide us. And we need to stand strong. Wow.
But we gave up our freedoms for sale. Find our way back to where we were then. Yes, that old family Bible.
Billy Graham, hold the Bible. I like that imagery.
It spells out the way we can win. Yes, it spells out the way we can win.
The Jewish man holding up the Torah.
Oh, God of sweet liberty, please help us and heal us again. If we fall on our knees, will you still hear our pleas? Take us back to where we were then. Oh, take us back to where we were then. America, where did you go?
Very nice. Pat Boone. How old is Pat Boone? Got me curious now. 90 years old. Yep. Pat Boone is 90 years old, and you can tell he's looking at it in that video. But 90 years old and still releasing new material. Wrote a new song and released it. Had an amazing career, and you can hear in his voice, kind of like Johnny Cash in his later years, as his voice wasn't exactly what it used to be when he was younger, but he's still got it. Still able to put out the music and to share his heart. And I don't know Pat Boone obviously personally, but just from what I know of him and his ministry through the years, writing his books, and putting out his gospel music and doing his appearances on TV, I believe he has a good heart for America. And I think the message of his song is we need to find unity. We need to unite and not let everything divide us. And if we don't, then America is going to be destroyed from the inside. So let's say a prayer for our country, and let's try to unite together. I mean, we're obviously going to have differences over issues, and they're important differences. But at the end of the day, we need to concentrate on the fact that we are all Americans. We need to all love our country. We need to all be fighting to preserve our country, our freedom, and our liberty. We may disagree on the tactics on how to do that. And and once again, it's healthy to have those debates, and it's important because some of those decisions that are made, if you make the wrong decisions, it can be catastrophic. We've seen in recent years in history how some of our leaders have made some tragic mistakes, and others on the other side have warned against it, but they wouldn't listen. We got to learn those lessons from history, but at the same time, I think the primary thing in order for any country to stand and to not fall is for its citizens to be united, at least in the principle that we love our country, that we want to save and preserve our country, and that we'll fight to save it and not give up on it and let it be destroyed. Anyway, that's my reaction. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Head over to their video and give them some support on Pat's channel. And before you go, hit the like button if you enjoyed my reaction. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and turn on notifications. And in your comments, give me some suggestions on some music that you'd like to see me react to. And name the artist and title. And if I react to something that you recommend, I'll give you a shout out on the video in which I react to your recommendation. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Have a great week. And we'll see you next time on the Light Side Music Reactions. Bye, everybody.